Well, this is it. We are nearing the end of the 2022 NATCON conference, and I got a superstar here. Yep, he's closing it out for us. This is Sharkie from Promolink, the founder, the president of the company. This guy knows his stuff. How long have you been in the industry, Sharkie?
Well, 23 years as of February coming up in 2023.
It is an honor to see you, man.
My pleasure.
It is an honor to spend some time with you.
Absolutely.
And I really am looking forward to this interview. I've been dying to do this one all day today. I'm going to tell you why. Because Sharkie and I had a conversation yesterday, and we were talking about the industry and some of the challenges. Thus far, we've been hearing a lot of stories about people getting into the industry, why they did it, what their passion is, what their mission is. And then Sharkie has got a beautiful passion, a beautiful mission. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of why I'm so excited about this interview, share me your passion. Tell me about why you got into this industry and why you love it.
Well, the whole thing started as I became a rep, a partial commission rep for Souvenir Avanti.
Okay.
That's how far I go back.
A supplier in this industry.
The supplier industry, while I had a gas station, I had an avid love for golf, and one of my friends who worked there said, hey, you'd be a great asset to us. We're opening up a golf division. And here I am. I commissioned salesmen, operated a garage, and next thing I knew, in 2000, I was unemployed. And then from there on in, I had one catalog, and here I am today.
And you started your own company.
I started my own company, yeah.
This is the thing that dreams are made of. That's been a common theme. All of these interviews is people following their hearts and doing it, right? And building it. And you built it, man. You built a successful distributorship, and you're doing it today.
Thank you.
And I also have to mention, this guy's smart. Look at those shoes. Those are red shoes, and they're Nikes. This guy's able to walk the floor comfortably. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. So, Sharkie, talk to me then about this passion, right? So you genuinely love this industry. You love your customers. Are you providing value? Are you providing service? How are you doing that for your customers?
So if I can just backtrack a little bit, go back to the service station that I had.
Yeah,
the service station I was always about being honest, being able to take care of their needs when they needed it.
Yes.
So that service end of things is what has carried me through today.
I love that.
I've always been about the person in front of me.
Yes.
It's about them and not about me.
Okay.
And so as I committed to them, which I always do, it's been the success of my career up until this point. Yeah.
So that's what motivates you, is servicing, is helping, right?
Yeah. And on top of that, I was put in a position where somebody asked me, he says, why don't you give this up? What do you think you're doing? You know, this is not an industry for you. And I said, that actually drove me and drove my passion that much more, because I don't believe in failure. I believe in success.
Yes.
And I believe in if you're committed, and that gave me more power to move forward, strive to succeed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was all about.
And you know what you say, Sharkie, and this is a valuable lesson for everybody that's watching this, is that motives come in all types of shapes and sizes.
100%.
And they can be, the motive of love, which I'm sure exists in your motives, and also the motive of, oh my gosh, like, you're telling me I can't make it? Watch this.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I've actually been watching the Michael Jordan documentary, and this dude is everything he does, he's motivated by something someone said, or someone who claims to be a bit better or rubs in the wrong way. And so don't doubt that motive, man. You doubt somebody, and you take that energy and you just transform it. So Sharkie, we're talking yesterday, and it was so fascinating. I love this conversation about the real challenges in this industry. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you're seeing these days. I actually want to be real. I want to show you the warts of our industry. I want to show you what doesn't work, and then we're going to talk about that a little bit. So talk to me about what's not working sometimes.
So what's not working sometimes is the expectations of the clients.
Yep.
They're just not realistic during this after COVID period.
Okay.
And then because of COVID, every industry got affected, not only just mine, but we've lost good people.
Yes.
And when you lose good people, it's hard to get good people back, because you cannot train them the same way.
Yes.
The spirit, the team morale changed, everything changed in that regard. And the toughest challenge, I can be honest with you, is that since with these expectations that the clients have, I don't have the luxury of the manpower I used to have to service them.
I see.
So which puts a lot of pressure, but that doesn't stop me. Again, it's one of those challenges that we all continue to go through.
Yes.
Is to maintain a certain level and execute. And employment is right across the board, no matter what industry it is, equally for mine. But then when you, it sounds a little selfish, but it's not. It's just about how I need to maintain the business for my clients.
Yes.
That never is off the table. So even if I have to work late nights, go in on weekends, I'll do what needs to be done.
And I think what you're also saying, there's a subtext to this, is that, yes, you may find it hard to have that labor force because of circumstances beyond your control. And the labor force issues that your suppliers face as well become problematic to you too, because really suppliers are partners with distributors. The two can't function independently, can they?
The only way they can function independently is to cut us distributors out, which would be a difficult task to do, because we can be out there a lot further and we can make those connections and build those relationships. But going back to what you had mentioned, having the lack of support that you're so accustomed to having, even the big names, I'm not going to name all the big names, we work with all levels of suppliers. And they're struggling. And when you have built your reputation on their expertise, their service, your paper proofs, and various different delivery points, it affects you. And then again, that hurts how you can service them, and you're actually a lot more stressed than you need to be. They're panicking, you're panicking, but you're still trying to do the best you can with the manpower you have, and that applies to the suppliers as well. So if you want to say that it hurts them, it hurts us, it hurts the client, and then you compound that with the pressure that the couriers have, which that you commit to a deadline, you want your products to arrive on time, and you don't sleep very well sometimes because it's in their hands once it leaves that warehouse. I
definitely know what you're talking about. What I find so fascinating about those challenges is that in this industry, the one thing that makes it really, really challenging and that makes those issues hurt is the fact that we are an event-driven industry, meaning that when someone needs something, typically it's for an event. So I need this for this day for this event. And oftentimes there's no moving that. You can't move the US Open. That's when the US Open is. You don't move a golf tournament, right? That's when it is. And so it becomes actually problematic, doesn't it? It becomes quite challenging, because ordinarily what I would say is that the answer is quite simple. The answer is just compassion and understanding, right? I understand right now. So it's like this. If someone has a terrible flu, well, you don't ask them to go play tennis with you, right? It's like, well, they can't do it. And when a supplier doesn't have labor because they can't get the labor, we would think, okay, let's use that level of understanding towards suppliers now. Okay, you can't do it, no problem. But it is a problem because you have an event that you've committed to. So it's like, what do you do, Sharkie? Like, what are our solutions? Like in an event-driven industry, what's the solution? Is it more communication? Is it, do we have to buffer the lead times? Do we have to educate the end user and say, yo, end user, you used to give me a week for this order, you got to give me 2 weeks. Like, what's the answer?
You're right on point. We've been at a point where we can no longer accept those rush orders. And we have to stand our ground. And you have to say, listen, your expectations are no longer possible. You're giving me 7 days on a product for an event. It's a 20th anniversary event. We talked about this yesterday, and I'm not going to mention the supplier, and I was after them, phone calls, emails, follow-up emails. And then in the end, what happened was they did not deliver the product, only because I hadn't paid. And when you're low on manpower, accounting is not up to date. So you're trying to balance all these factors into a delivery.
Yes.
And there's a lot more than that.
Yes.
And I'm going to get into the next part of what we talked about yesterday as well. But the main thing is that you don't have the manpower. We have to stand our ground and say, listen, you're going to have to give us more time.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to refuse it because we as a business industry cannot survive by working under these circumstances. So the supplier has to stand their ground, so we can't do it in X amount of days. It's now, instead of 7, it's 14 days after paper-proof approval. Yep. I'm going to have to filter that to my client. And that's where the communication comes in. But if we all stand our ground, then they can all settle down and their expectations will be a little lower. They'll prepare and give us the time that's needed to properly execute an order in time.
So it's really boils down to education, right?
100%.
Like we've got to educate throughout the entire channel, don't we?
Yes.
And I think the next thing we wanted to get into is the fact that all of these things, all of these road bumps that you incur, the extra phone calls that you have to make, the extra call to your graphic artist, can you redo this according to that? It's eroding profitability probably, right?
100%. So if we work on low margins, and sometimes it's on low quantity items, and then what you do is you prepare the quote, you send the quote, you wait for the return, you place the PO. Somewhere along the way, they change the product location. They change the color of the item.
Yes.
And it doesn't happen at the same time. You're getting bits and bytes. So therefore, the time you spent, now for the quoting, there's a cost to that.
Yes.
There's the preparation of the PO, there's a cost to that.
Yes.
And then they changed it along the way, now there's a cost to that because now you're backtracking. So it's all that is eating away from your profit.
Yes.
So when you look at the grand scheme of things, you say, I was supposed to make X amount of profit on this order to get it on time, to deal with the stress, and then have to deal with that. It's just sometimes not worth it. But so all that to say is that it's eating away at your profit. You can't just look at it, here's the price on the quote, this is the price. You have to gauge and determine what's happening in that process all the way along from start to finish.
Yes.
So you can't look at, I was going to make $500 as an example, I'm going to throw it, and then you come back and you say, well, I've paid my employees. We spent X amount of time for the whole thing I just explained. And then you turn and go, well, why am I doing this for $50?
Well, you end up trading dollars for dollars.
Dollars.
And that's not sustainable.
No, it's not sustainable.
You are paying mortgages, paying for kids to go to university, paying employees who have those exact same needs, right?
Yep.
And there is nothing wrong with being profitable. In fact, it's a beautiful thing. Profitability is what allows us to continue to live in this society in which money plays a central part, right?
Yes.
So I understand that challenge and I feel that challenge. And so that's why this interview is so important, because people are going to listen to this interview, people are going to watch this interview, and they're going to go, oh yeah. And you're going to come up with your own solutions. You're going to begin to think about these variables and be able to incorporate them into your offering. So what are you going to offer? What's your price going to look like in light of what Sharkie's telling you? What lead times are you going to talk to your customers about in light of what Sharkie's bringing to your attention right now? And this is why I thought it was such a fabulous idea to have you on here to talk about these real life issues, because life is challenging. Like no matter what you do, it's challenging. I'm smiling here on camera, but it's not like there's not challenges. It's not like trying to start a business isn't challenging, right? That's the joy of life. And we have to have these discussions, don't we?
100%. I mean, you're going to be challenged no matter what. You're challenged in school. You're challenged as a child growing up. You're challenged with the decisions that you make because your parents have set these expectations on you. You're always challenged. But the main thing, the most important thing, take the challenge, push it through, execute, don't give up. And then you can go as far as you possibly can. And then again, it goes back to your commitment. How committed are you to, regardless of what profession you're in and what you're doing?
Yes, I agree.
That commitment is so powerful. Once you're in it, you just push forward. Yeah.
See, this is a coaching moment, right? You heard it right here. It really is, and that's what we're here to do, is to learn, right? We're here to adopt best practices. Sharkie's a successful guy. He's done really well in life, and he's giving us advice here that is so practical. Believe. don't give up. Understand that you can keep on going.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to accept failure. All right, like it's coming, here it is for the day, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's not permanent. And in that manner, it doesn't become failure. It becomes really the motivation that takes you to the next level, that allows you to continue to grow and to expand. And I watch you, I have observed you over the years. I love your positive energy. I love your outlook. And I love your realness, the fact that we're really talking about these issues today instead of what's rosy and what's glorious. There's lots of glorious in your life. We could have had a half an hour, heck, a 2-hour conversation about what's glorious in Sharkie's life.
Yeah.
But instead, he wanted to draw some light on some of the challenges. And I just thank you for that, man.
My pleasure. And if I may add one more thing before we close out.
Please do.
Take the time, get out, take the education that's being offered by our association. That's going to push you through. And I think, you know what, at the beginning, I had realized that I can't learn, but I found out the deeper I got into the association, the more I got implicated in the association, I ended up having to take all those courses. And for a person who didn't have the background in marketing, with a high school level education, again, it goes back to your commitment, if I could say that. By taking these courses, I started at, TAS, and now I'm an MAS. I've actually applied to be an MAS plus. I'm hoping that my project gets through, and then I could just say I've done what I can within the industry.
Yes.
So
yes.
And I think that's what your goal is, to push to the maximum level you could reach. And keep looking beyond. I mean, that's all it's all about.
Well, you just said it there. Keep looking beyond. And I say this to everybody. Greatness lies right outside your field of possibilities. So at this very moment, we have a field of possibilities. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. And right outside that field, zip, just outside of it, what you just said, that's where greatness is. So you're talking about going further. You're talking about taking it one step further. Now I'm going to do MAS plus, and there's more beyond that. And he's going to figure it out, because this is the kind of guy that says, I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue to succeed. And for that, man, I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
And you are an inspiration. Thank you for always teaching and for raising the energy and the level of professionalism in our industry.
Absolutely. And if I can help in any other way, if anybody wants to reach out, I'd be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you. I think it's also about giving back.
Yes.
Because what I've learned, if I can share it and make somebody else better, then, that's what it's all about. It's not about me. Like I said at the beginning, it's about you, it's about the client. And if we can make this world a better place by expressing my situation or my experiences with you to make you better, I'm more than happy to do that.
Sharkie, what a pleasure, man.
Thank you so
much. What a pleasure. Tell the people how they can get a hold of you.
Well, if you want to get a hold of me, you can actually reach out straight to me. It's Sharkie with like a shark, IET, at promolink.ca. And if you want to reach out to Alex, by all means. I mean, and my hat's off to you, my friend, because we met a long time ago.
Yep.
And it's been over 23 years. I've seen your progress too, and now your professionalism. I'm so happy for you. I'm also glad to be sitting here next to you. I never thought I would be sitting here with you under these circumstances, but I'm so glad you gave me this opportunity. And yeah, reach out to Alex. He can get a hold of me, and it'll be more than my pleasure.
I got a little parting gift for you, Sharkie. This is from Latour de Spice. I love this company, and it's a tiny little vial of spice here for the holiday season.
Yeah.
You put it in your hot water. It's apple. It's beautiful cane sugar in there, and you make yourself a hot apple cider this holiday season, and think about all of your friends.
So you're spicing up my life. Is that what you're doing?
I am,
You're
buddy.
spicing my life. I thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.